Welcome to Deep Thought. Embrace the trigger. What do I mean when I say that? Well, in recent years, that word trigger has really become a part of the lexicon, because people will say, well, he said something to trigger me. And, people get upset and everything. But see, the problem I have with it is almost like instead of really facing the trigger, embracing it, people just don't want you to say it, so they try to say, well, you can't say that because it triggers me or whatever. And the thing is, everybody gets triggered by different words or different actions, The thing to do, but see, here's a problem with it. If you can be triggered by a word or an action, that means that person has something on you. That person has something on you. They have a power over you when they can just say a few words and you getting upset. And telling them to stop is like, well, you always have bullies, but you're always giving it to them, and they realize once they realize where your weakness is, they'll go for it. They will go for it. But the way to stop that is to embrace it. Well, now, what do I mean when I embrace it? Yeah, it hurts. It ain't always a good thing. Shoot. And I've had some triggers. But here's the thing. The thing to do is realize, okay, you're triggered by that word. Why does it trigger you? What is it about you that a word or an action can make you uncomfortable? What is it about it? First, figure that out. It's like, okay, this person done called me this, or they did this, or they said this. I'm uncomfortable. Why? You gotta ask yourself. Now, I ain't gonna say it's a good or a bad thing, or it's a minor thing. It's obviously a bad thing if it triggers you. But you gotta look at it and say, okay, why am I letting that word or that action trigger me? What is it about it that's making me uncomfortable? And a lot of times the person might not even do anything, but people get mad about it and they don't want you to deal with it. They don't want you to deal with it. So they'll try to get you not to talk about it anymore. But see, I'm a twisted person. I'm a twisted person. I might be like, I know now. Now I'm not twisted much. But you gotta stop. So first, when you get that thing, breathe. Don't react right away, because that's a key to it. A lot of times people react without thinking about it. When they triggering you or something like that, and you can feel it physically. Breathe, stop. Relax your body. Meditation is good because it teaches you how to relax. Relax your body and just say, hey, what's up? What's up with it? What are you gonna why am I letting this do it? So you relax. You sit down. Then you embrace it. Just say, you know what? Is what they're saying really true? Because a lot of times a trigger could just be a false belief you have. Seriously. Or something about yourself that someone else is unintentionally holding up a mirror to, which you need to face. And see, that's the final thing right there. You got to face it. You got to face your fears. You got to face your fears. You got to get comfortable about it. I remember reading in a book. It was a science fiction book. It was about a character that had a fear of heights. No, a fear of storms. So what this character did, this character actually sat on a roof during a storm and rode out the whole storm just to face their fear of it. Just to face their fear of it. And I thought that was an important thing. It's like you got to face it. You got to go to that dark place. And face it. Like in a classic movie, like, we got another Star Wars movie coming out. The best one, really, in my opinion, on so many levels, was The Empire Strikes Back. On so many levels, even though the good guys lost in that, it was a really good film and had some deep stuff. Like there was the scene where Yoda was training Luke, and there was that dark place in Yoda's forest, and Luke saw it and he said, "What's in that place?" And Yoda was like, "Whatever you bring with you." So he went into that place. He saw Darth Vader. And then, he sliced Darth Vader down and the face mask exploded. And that what was looking up at him was his own face. That was his greatest fear on a deep level, going to the dark side. But in order to deal with that, you got to face it. You got to face that trigger, no matter what it is. Every fear, you have to face it, because then that fear controls your life. It controls your destiny. It stops you from doing stuff. So many people, I've met so many people because of those fears, those triggers, what they're afraid to face is they haven't succeeded in life. They haven't succeeded. They haven't gone through. They haven't done they haven't done what they could have done in life. But sometimes you got to just take it. You got to face it fair on. Because once you got to face that fear, you got to face that trigger. Because what'll happen is, once you face it and you realize, wait a minute, I didn't face this. I'm still here. Boom. Now look, I already told y'all, I'm not some guru on the top of a mountain. I guess I'm not sure how everybody sees me. I know some people might see me on a certain level, but the things I know and things I talk about is because I experienced it. Rom, for a long time, I was nowhere near my potential, because there were things I had fear of, or negative behaviors I had adopted. I have no problem saying that. I ain't gonna say what, but I had it. It wasn't until I dealt with those things that I was really able to explode, where everything I touched turned to gold. But I had to face it. I had to face that fear. I wasn't doing something, and I said, look, I gotta face this. I gotta take care of this now. Boom, there it is. Once I did that, it was like, boom. Now when someone comes at me or says certain things, I'm like, yeah, whatever. You let me send you back and let's deal with this again. Like, I've had people try to trigger me on some stuff, and I was like, I just laughed. Like, I'll tell you one of my favorites. I had they might even listen to this channel for all I know. They try to say, yeah, you were this or that. And they were trying to trigger me, saying, oh, yeah, you failed at this or that. I was like, you don't know what I failed at. Because, look, let's be real. There was a time in my life, there was a fear of failure. I'll share that with you. But then I said, no, if I don't fail at something, I don't learn. And the only way to try it is every time, because the times I failed, then I was like, oh, I shouldn't do that, or I figured out how to do it better. That's got me to this point. And a lot of people have a fear of failure, So for somebody to say, oh, you did this or that, I'm like, that don't trigger me, because I ain't afraid to fail. I'll just do something else. And people usually try when they come at you. But if you embrace it and say, hey, it's a learning process, or whatever it is, it could be a fear of approaching women. You got to embrace it, or, having your personhood challenged in some way. You got to embrace it. Then they can't mess with you. That's when you become strong beyond belief, powerful beyond belief. So, something to think about. Anyway, I'll get back with y'all later. Peace and blessings.